We do it Fridays from 10 a.m. We team up with the team from Virtuzone to basically give you some free advice on getting started up, on scaling your business, exiting the business. Got any questions with regards to starting up a business here in the region, then Virtuzone, your go-tos. The CFO is Saga Chandiramani, who's been kind enough to join us today. How's business, Saga? All good down at VZ?
So far, so good. Dubai is buzzing. People are flowing in here. It's the hub and always has been the hub for business setup. Ease of doing business definitely is something that Dubai excels. Opportunity is something which Dubai always keeps giving. Dubai is booming, and Virtuzone is doing equally as good.
It's good to have you on board to answer questions and add to the conversation, a conversation that talks about the growing business landscape here in Dubai and the region as a whole. Notice the roads are busier, the malls are more packed than ever. Business is good. Well, we just heard it's good at Virtuzone. Good start to the year as it is across the boards. That's because thousands move to Dubai every day. Many of them setting up shop, many coming over to see what it's all about. One man who did that is Carl Goff. He's the founder of Meet Magic. He thinks his company is something that Dubai's business community needs, and we will be finding out from him why in just a few moments' time. He's also joined by a top executive who's benefited from Meet Magic, Adrian Hobbs, seasoned CTO, a chief technology officer, both of them live with us here in studio. Gentlemen, thank you so much indeed for your time. Welcome.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Right, let's get into Mr. Carl first and foremost. Carl, the move to Dubai, the big change, the big shift, geographically, professionally. Why?
Can I just tell you, I've never even been to this country before. In fact, the closest I got here was a business class lounge at DXB, and I've never stepped foot in the country. And on December the 1st, I got on a plane and walked into the dark tunnel and prayed. And I thought, what is this country going to be like? I literally sold everything that I got in Australia after 26 years and came here. And the reason I came here was because there's a lot of growth happening here. This whole market, from everyone that I've been speaking to, is buzzing, and I'm not missing out on that. And so as a company, we've been 5 years sort of hypothesizing about what we've been doing. We've raised a couple of $1 million for charity. We've got this growth. We've got this amazing community of execs in Australia. And I thought, this is scale time. You know, you put your boat on the sea here, you're going to rise with everybody else.
There is something in the water, as they say. And Adrian, I'm sure that's something that you've noticed as well. Well-travelled professional and taking your skills the world over. I mean, is there something in the water here at the moment? Is there something different about Dubai, about the UAE, about this part of the world?
Yes, sure, Tom. Look, I've been here for about 10 years, and I think it's absolutely amazing. The decision velocity, it's unprecedented. Right, a lot of countries are grappling now how to deal with AI and technology and building out the energy required to power AI data centers. UAE has all of that in abundance. Plus, it's got a lot of national initiatives and drive to really bring that into the benefit of the citizens and enterprise across the country.
Let's get into Meet Magic if we can. It's time for the elevator pitch. Okay, Mr. G, tell us all about it. What's Meet Magic?
Tinder for business. That's
Perfect.
it. Done.
Okay. Perfect. Let's talk about the tennis, shall we? Okay.
Well, you were there the other day. I saw that.
I was
it 45 degrees?
Yeah.
So look, Meet Magic is a technology platform. It's when I jokingly say it's like Tinder for business, it pretty much is. So we've got two sides of a marketplace. On one side, there's amazing executives like Adrian. And on the other side, it's amazing technology companies like Netscope and those sorts of companies who want to meet with people like Adrian. So we just match the two together, and every time a conversation happens, we give a lot of our money to charity. So we charge the vendors a fee rather than spending it on a golf day, rather than spending it on, I don't know, a conference and scanning badges. We just say, go and have a meeting with Adrian, go and have some lunch, have a conversation, and support some sick kids or support some kids to get an education.
Adrian, as we mentioned at the top of the show, you have benefited from Meet Magic. Tell us about your experiences and why it works, why it's different.
I think the beauty of Meet Magic is that it doesn't ask for any more on top of an already compressed and busy executive schedule, right? It's pretty much redirecting that time you would ordinarily spend engaging with industry, engaging with suppliers, and there's an added benefit that you're able to give back to the community as well, right? Through Meet Magic, through Dubai Cares, and the investment in children's education for developing countries. I think all of those things come together without any additional friction on an executive schedule.
Is there a shift at the moment? I mean, I doubt there's many people out there, Carl, that is listening. If we had them here, if we put them on the spot and saying, you know, if there was the opportunity to do something for good, would you do that? But is there a shift in the world that people are sort of going out of their way to do something for good these days?
Absolutely. I think it's becoming imperative. I think a lot of execs that we see in Australia, for example, are actually using the Meet Magic thing in their job interview process. So it actually makes them look good. And I think there's a demand for you to actually look good as a human being, not just as an executive. So I think that we're seeing a lot of growth in that area. A lot of execs, like senior execs, we're talking heads of risk, heads of cybersecurity. Just in the short weeks that I've been here, I've been 7 weeks, I think I've been here now. I think we put about 100 senior leaders on our platform. And we're talking senior guys who want to do good, but they just don't have the time. And so we make it really simple for them to sit down, have a lunch, have a coffee, iftar, for example, through the Ramadan campaign. And that's it. That's their way of giving back.
I want to get the CFO's perspective on this one, because we know what CFOs like, don't they? Bottom lines, etc. Yeah. You know, when you put that expense in for lunch and you say to the CFO, Saga, that, you know, but it was for a good cause. You know, it was all for good. I mean, what's your sort of take on the networking infrastructures here at the moment?
So I think it's definitely an interesting concept, something I've not heard of before. So something which just comes across as an opportunity for businesses to focus on a purpose beyond profit. And the only question that I would have, and as Tom said, probably from a CFO's perspective, two questions rather. One, for the business, right? There's definitely an intent where you're getting something out of it from a revenue stream because you're going and meeting somebody meaningful. But the fact that the proceeds of that expense are going for a purpose, which is let's say charity or serving the community, does the association with Dubai Cares allow a person to categorize it as a CSR activity or something that goes back to the community, for example, as one question? And second, this is more specific to Meet Magic. Of course, at the end of the day, you've got a business to run, you've got expenses, and especially since you're an application, you've got expenses you need to pay for your servers to keep the lights on. What's in it for a business like you to do this, where you're serving the community, but also have to ensure that you cover your expenses and make some money out of it?
Well, look, I think, firstly, I'm from Nottingham, where Robin Hood comes from. So we're talking about taking money off other people and giving it to those that need it. But that's the whole point of Meet Magic. I set this thing up to really make a difference to charities. So the whole point of it was, you know, if we can make a sustainable fundraising model. So the actual vendors who pay for these meetings, they're using that money anyway. That's marketing funds that would ordinarily go to a lunch or a golf day or a conference where they would literally not get any return from that. And we know the returns from conferences are very, very small. We've now found that we're 75% cheaper and more effective than any of those B2B activities. So it becomes a really powerful way. So for someone to get to access to Adrian, for example, they would spend a ton of cash if they were lucky to get time with Adrian. But they can do that through Meet Magic because it's going to make a difference. And so for me, it's not about putting Ferraris in the garage. It's about, my goal is to give $250 million away. So we've given $2 million away. We've got a long way to go yet, but I think we can do that here. So you talk about making money. That's not my focus. My focus is about giving money. And one of my heroes is Chuck Feeney, the founder of DFS Galleria. He was the billionaire that never was, and he says he wants his last check to bounce. And that's exactly my philosophy with this business.
But Adrian, is that a philosophy that works here as well? Because there is, you know, there are so many misconceptions of business here, and a lot of people think they can arrive and there's money hanging off trees and the pavements are made from gold, etc. And you just have to sign up with Virtuzone and you'll be a millionaire this time next year, Rodney. Again, do structures like this help to sort of dispel some of those misconceptions about business and doing business here?
I think from an executive perspective, it's really about the signal to noise, right? You often go to a lot of conferences and there's not much signal, right? There's a lot of noise. And in fact, if I look at a typical week, I'd be meeting 10 to 15 net new people during that week, right? How do I sort of get to the ones that really do have value to contribute to the dialogue, the conversation, the strategy, the agenda, versus those that are just random sort of connects? I think the hurdle that Carl's put in there, which goes to a good cause, actually starts to do that filtering for me. So I see value in those meetings. I'm happy to invest my time, which I ordinarily would have. So it just drives higher signal-to-noise ratio.
We're all international citizens around the desk. I mean, doing business here in the UAE compared to back in your native countries, compared back internationally, is it more difficult to get face time with people? Because there is this assumption that everyone's in it together, we're all expats, we're all chasing the same thing. But is it more difficult? And do therefore these sort of networks need to be adaptable to their geographies and their environment?
I think in the last couple of years, absolutely, right? The attraction of UAE to do business, including all ends of the spectrum, from large multinationals all the way through to startups, right? With the change in visas, attracting remote workers, the increase in population, people want to come here. People want to do business here. So getting access to established organizations, established executives, it is a premium on that time, right? And Cal's effectively created a market, right, to allow those new entrants to get a lot easier access to the executives, and the executives, without any additional burden on their agenda, to also provide a channel to give back to market, to give back to philanthropic causes like what Dubai Cares does.
Yeah, we're going to find out more about the Dubai Cares initiative in just a few moments' time. Ramadan just around the corner as well. But Saga, just getting your thoughts on that. It is unique because, there's no shortage of networking opportunities here, but very few that you're going to do. A lot of them are very individual and egocentric. It's all about the me, whereas this is about a common good as well, people coming together for something else.
Yeah, in fact, I was just coming to that because I've spent all my life in Dubai, so I've been here for close to about 33 years now. So I've seen it go from just a barren desert to what it is now. So in this span of time, as Adrian just said, in the last couple of years, or at least in the last 5 years, there's been an influx of high net worth individuals, there's been an influx of talent in this place. But I personally, for example, am part of several groups which could be either business connections or BNIs or investor groups. But one thing which I see in common here is that when you visit them, you're able to meet, but the conversion ratios kind of vary depending upon who's a part of the community. So from a business's perspective, and keeping the philanthropic part aside, how can a business ensure that when they're subscribing for a service like this and getting a meeting, that there's something going to convert out of it? Because at the end of the day, when I look at it from a financial perspective, even a small approval of a lunch, which could be at an expensive restaurant, when you put it as an expense, you put one, you're okay. But when you put 10, that just balloons up, and that could become a good excuse, for example, a cost increase. So how does Meet Magic differentiate itself from other platforms which probably promise the same? Set aside the giving back to the community objective.
We have probably the best go-to-market efficiency ratios on the planet right now. And I think if you look at what it would cost a B2B company, let's just say a company coming from the UK, setting up here, going through you guys, they've got to get to market somehow. So they're going to spend $30,000 going to a conference, standing there for a couple of days, scanning some badges, putting those emails in an outbound campaign to try and get to Adrian. And they're going to really struggle with that. The cost of that over time, over 6 months, will be hundreds of thousands of dollars, time and effort. We talk about taking it to $1,000. So we talk about it. Let me take this back down to Tinder. If you've had 10 Tinder dates and haven't got lucky, well, it's not the app's fault, really, is it? The app's done the job. And so it's the same principle with Meet Magic. That's why our customers, the big tech companies, keep coming back, because they know they can't get 10 dates with Adrian for $10,000. And out of those, 1 or 2 of them are going to become long-term relationships.
That's a date now, Adrian, is it? Look at that. Okay.
Shall we post my number? Or?
He had a lovely date with Netscope the other day at Zuma. You can't tell me that sushi wasn't nice, Adrian.
So are we saying it's probably guaranteed if you go on the app and you start a meeting, that's going to happen?
Totally.
Right.
Well, actually, on that point, this is the really interesting thing, because for every 10 requests that go through our platform, 6 to 7 meetings get locked in the diary. Why? Because these execs like Adrian have opted in. So because they've opted in, you've got that time in the diary. So you can literally log onto our platform, onto meetmagic.org, sign up, create a profile, put your money in, put your credit card in, and book a meeting within 24 hours.
Got you. Yeah, I think that probably adds value, because for a business, you want 2 things. One is when you subscribe for something of this sort, whether it's an investor platform or whether it's the ones like Meet Magic, you want the ability to make the meeting happen.
Yeah.
And of course, once you meet the person, getting the contact details and taking it forward obviously depends upon the business. But the fact that you're giving away some money for a guaranteed return is what probably could be a differentiator. That's what I'm thinking, because, as I said, the conversion is what really matters for a finance person.
Gents, we're going to take a little bit of a breather to collect our thoughts and check our profiles as well. When we come back, though, we want to find out a bit more about the Lead with Purpose campaign, the holy month of Ramadan just around the corner. So what better opportunity for us to have this conversation with Carl, Adrian and the rest of the team. So keep your thoughts coming through to us. You can text us now on 4001.
This is Starting Up on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by Virtuzone. Be your